Welcome back to my channel. Hopefully my hair doesn't make this too bad, but welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jada. We are just romanticizing the ordinary day. So today we are going to be doing a recap of all of the books that I read in June, which there are 5 of them. So you're going to be getting some cute little reviews. So keep watching to see what I read in June. First up, we have Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. So I technically started this like very end of May, but finished it in June. So we're counting it for June, okay? And this is the 3rd book in her Knock 'em Out series. First 2, oh my God, I'm the worst, are Things We Never Got Over and then Things We Hide from the Light. And I was so happy to get this signed copy. I was like, like it's not on my Kindle. I have to go and get it in the store, which I have nothing against physical books, and I actually very much love physical books. I had just been on my Kindle kick, so I was just like, I want to complete the series on the Kindle. So now I'm just going to have to end up buying the first 2 books, so I have the whole set in print regardless. 3rd book in the series, and this is a slow burn between characters. So Sloane and Lucien obviously know each other back from their young age, and they, in the first 2 books, always just despised each other, like could not be around each other without throwing insults, whatever. In the first 2 books, you assume it's going to be enemies to lovers, but then as you read this 3rd book, you learn that it's more a slow burn, maybe like a mix of the two. I think that Sloane and Lucien had a really sweet story. It just took too long. Like, look at this. She's hefty, okay? And as much as I loved reading about Lucien's story, because like I've been waiting to know like about why certain things happened, and like they kept mentioning them in the first 2 books but never really talking about them, so I was really curious. So I loved that about this book, but it was just like it took too long to get to the part where it's like you're obviously attracted to each other, like just shut up and make out, you know? This book jumps between past and present, so it gives us the present day Sloane and Lucien as well as their past, and explains a lot of why they are the way that they are, and it was really super clear. I enjoyed reading it. Like, it wasn't confusing or anything, so I did like that, because I feel like sometimes authors can like make that confusing and mess that part up, but like my girl Lucy did her thing with this book. Their story was built up so much in the first book and then some in the second book, so like I was really happy to be able to finally read this. One thing that I did like forget pretty often was that they are like in their 40s, so like these aren't mid-20 somethings, like these are established 40-year-old people. So every time that thought came to my mind, I was just like, huh, but like it didn't bother me or anything. I did give this one 5 stars. I was a little worried that I wasn't going to want to. I gave the first one 5 stars and the second one 4. And I was really like, when I first started reading this one, I was really worried that I wasn't going to like it as much as I had hoped. But Lucien here, his whole story just kind of tugged at my heartstrings, and it just was like, yep, 5-star read. So I 100% recommend this series. Obviously don't start with this one, but definitely a 5-star read, and I enjoyed reading it. Especially after being on a Kindle kick and having a physical book, this was a really good one to start with. The next book that I read was Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. I'll put the little like book cover right here, but I was not hooked on this story. So it's a thriller, and we've been pretty much reading thrillers in my book club, and I wasn't hooked on this story, but I did enjoy it. And so it's kind of hard because like it didn't give me that I don't want to put it down feeling, but like I obviously wanted to finish it. This story is about that bestie trio of Kaiser, Angela, and Gio, and something happens to Angela, and we don't find out exactly what happens until 16 years later when Kaiser, who is a cop, arrests Gio from her corporate office. This is another story that does a really good job of that present day versus flashback in the past kind of thing. So I was really happy to see that, and I liked seeing the torment from like all sides, like it wasn't just one person's point of view. And so I was really like glad that we got to see that in this book. I will say that I felt bad for Gio, especially after reading her point of view of what happened the night that like everything happened to Angela. And I feel like that's a hot take. So if you read this book, let me know in the comments down below how you feel about that. I wouldn't say that the ending was like a surprise twist. Like once I started seeing things happening and like they started talking about certain things more, I kind of guessed the ending. But I will say I gave this book 4 stars, mostly because it didn't give me that don't want to put it down feeling, but it was a good story overall. Like I think it's a good, it's an easy read. Then we have Black Brother by Jewel Parker Rhodes, and I 100% picked this up because same last name. But I thought that I read this book in one night. Like it is super easy read, and it's like, not that I didn't want to put it down. I was like, I just kind of want to finish this. This is a good book for maybe a read aloud in upper grades or like a whole group discussion book that you'd want to have with like upper elementary. So this story is about 2 brothers, like full blood brothers. One of them is lighter, more white passing, and one of them is obviously darker, and you can tell that he's black. But they're both mixed with a black mom and a white dad. And this story begins and is about just kind of like discrimination based on skin color. They go to this prestigious, very predominantly white school. Neighbors are... The darker skinned brother has a fit of anger and he throws his backpack on the ground, and that just is the catalyst for all of these bad things that transpire. They throw him in jail for it for a night. While he is suspended from school for this nonsensical act, he finds out that he wants to take on fencing because that's something that's super big in his school where he'd never make the team. So he gets these lessons in with the like kind of like YMCA coach, and he starts enjoying himself. And there's a ton of life lessons in this book that I think are super cute for older adolescents. Super cute read. I gave it 4 stars because I enjoyed the storyline. It's missing that 1 star just because I wish that the family would have gotten more out of what happened, because that was obviously like very, especially in today's times, it's very like practical that things like that happen. So with the mom having been a lawyer, I really thought like she could have like made something happen, especially with the school. But you will see. You will see. I'm not going to say what happened, but for me, there wasn't enough that happened. So 4 stars. Good read. 4th book that I read was The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. If you know me, you know of my love for books. If you know of my love for books, you know that I do not care for the Housemaid series. Frida, listen, your other books, big fan of. Housemaid series, did not care for it. But let me tell you, I gave The Housemaid is Watching 5 stars. Okay, 5 stars. Because Frida did her thing. She ate up this book, okay? Frida knew that the rent was due, and she made things happen. The number one thing, so for me, I could tell that Frida's writing had grown. I feel like, and I could always fact check this, but I feel like The Housemaid was one of her very first books to be put out. So like, she's still getting to know her writing style. She's not really quite sure. I wasn't a fan of her writing style in The Housemaid. And so to see like her growth through these books was really cool. But my favorite thing is that in the book, and I don't really think, this isn't really a spoiler. In her book, there's a part where a character is talking about their love for books, but they don't like the 3rd book in a couple series because it's always the worst one. And I died laughing at this because this is the 3rd book in her series. And I'm just like, Frida, this is your best book. Honey, I love the little thing you did there. I see what you're doing there. And that right there, when I read that, I was like 5 stars. 5 stars, because she was so bold for that. Like, Frida is my girl. Like, I have to read all of the rest of her books. Like, I've read a good amount, but like at this point, I have to read all of her other ones because she did her thing with that one line in this entire book. So in this story, I did appreciate the storyline. I feel like a lot more just because like I love when little things can tie into my life. So like in this book, she has a family, the housemaid has a family, and they move to a new town, and it's like I have a family and whatever. But I love that like they have the family. I wish the antagonist in the story would have gotten more than what he did get, but I'm not mad at it. But I wish it would have been more. You know what I'm saying? Rita loves to put a little twist to her endings in there. And I can't say that I was surprised at this ending, but I was just like, okay, cool. Like, throw that in there. Like, I could have guessed it, but I wasn't focused on guessing it. I was just more focused on just like, how are they gonna fix this for the protagonist without trying to give away spoilers? It's so hard. But yeah, I wish he would have gotten more to what was coming for him in this story. My last read for June was The Orphanage by the Lake by Daniel G. Miller. And I can't remember if this one was initially on my TBR, but I did find it on the Kindle, and I was looking to get back into reading on my Kindle, and this one was there. Obviously, you know I love a good thriller, so I gave it a try. I think that the storyline was great. I feel like this is a story that could be made into like a one-season series, and I loved how Madeline gave Hazel, who is our private investigator, a timeline to finding her goddaughter. So Madeline's goddaughter goes missing from this like all-girls orphanage, right? And she wants to know what happens to her, and she's hired private investigator after private investigator, and they've just all come up short within her time frame. And so Madeline gives them, I believe it was 7 days or 8 days. Let's say 7 to 10. 7 to 10 days to find her goddaughter before she moves on to the next one. She gave them like a hefty bonus, a nice like little car to drive, and it's like, do it, this what you need to do. And I kind of love that because it's like you knew that something was going to happen by the end of the day. Either she was going to find her goddaughter or she wasn't, or like somewhere in between. And it's like the countdown gave you the anticipation of like what's going to happen next. So the story wasn't a like, I can't go to sleep until I finish this book, but it was definitely like, I don't want to put it down book. I do love how for once, it's not a story centered around like a love interest. So like it wasn't about Hazel like falling for a guy and them teaming up to finding like this girl together. Like no, like Hazel was a badass. Like she did her thing and she was like, I'm going to step out into this world. I'm going to take care of business and I'm going to do what I have to do. And the thing with Hazel is that she is Korean. I would assume Korean American because it's in America. And there's so many like cultural things in there, from the food to like the way that they like her and her roommate would speak to each other. So I thought that that was really cool and I appreciated that. And yeah, my girl Hazel, she just was like doing her thing out there. Overall, I gave the story 4 stars and it was great. I love the storyline. The writing was good. It wasn't really like cliffhanger chapters, and I can't say that I care much for cliffhanger chapters, but I do appreciate them. But overall, the story didn't give me like that oomph that like I was looking for, you know? And after a certain point, it was kind of predictable, so that kind of killed it for me. But again, after you read so many thrillers, it's like it just becomes natural for you to guess the ending, I suppose. But yeah, 4 stars. And those were my 5 reads for June. I want to know in the comments down below if you've read any of these, how you feel about them. I'm going to link my Goodreads down below because I'm always looking for more friends on Goodreads. I am making my way through my goal. My goal for the year is 30 books. I believe I'm at 20 or 21 right now. And obviously my Instagrams are down below, my main and my Bookstagram, and go ahead and give those a follow. We can connect anywhere you like, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye.